They called it Room 7, a hostel room students feared for years. Girls kept disappearing, and nobody knew why, until one student decided to uncover the truth.
I'm worried.
But what she found changed everything.
When the semester began, students filled the hostel with noise, laughter, and excitement. Freshers dragged their boxes through the hallway. Room doors opened and closed. Girls introduced themselves to new roommates. But on that particular afternoon, something felt different. A girl arrived alone. She carried just one old suitcase. No parents. No friends. No smile. She stopped in front of hostel room 7. The hallway suddenly became quiet. Two girls standing nearby looked at each other. "Is she really moving into that room?" one whispered. The new girl slowly opened the door. Inside, the room looked normal. 2 beds. 1 window. Old curtains. Nothing unusual. But the girls in the hostel knew something strange about room 7. Nobody stayed there for long. Every student who had lived there eventually requested a transfer. Nobody explained why. The new girl quietly entered and locked the door behind her. That night, the hostel became noisy with music and conversations. Room 7 stayed silent. No laughter. No movement. No light. At exactly midnight, a loud sound came from inside the room. A scream. Then silence. The next morning, the hostel girls gathered outside room 7. But when the door opened, the new girl stood there calmly, smiling, as if nothing happened.
After the scream that night, strange things started happening in the hostel.
The girls tried to ignore what happened. Maybe someone had a nightmare. Maybe they imagined it. But after the new girl moved in, things changed. Hostel lights started going off at strange hours. Footsteps echoed in the hallway after midnight. Doors opened by themselves. One student claimed she saw someone standing outside the bathroom at 2 a.m. But when she looked closely, nobody was there. The new girl remained quiet. She rarely spoke. She attended classes alone. She never joined hostel gossip. But one thing made everyone uncomfortable. Every night at exactly 11:45 p.m., she left her room and returned before sunrise. Nobody knew where she went. One evening, her roommate finally asked, "Where do you go every night?" The new girl smiled. "You really don't want to know?" That answer made her roommate nervous. That same night, the roommate decided to secretly follow her. The hallway was dark. The roommate stayed quiet as she followed behind. The new girl walked slowly. She didn't look left. She didn't look right. She walked straight toward an old building behind the hostel. A building students rarely entered. The roommate hid behind a tree. She watched carefully. The new girl pushed open the rusty door, then disappeared inside. The roommate waited. Minutes passed. No sound. No movement. Finally, she stepped closer. Her heart beat fast. She slowly looked through a broken window. Inside the building, candles burned on the floor. Old photographs covered the walls. And in the middle of the room, the new girl was speaking to someone. But there was nobody there. Suddenly, the new girl stopped talking. She turned slowly toward the window and looked directly at her. The roommate stepped back in fear. Then she ran. She ran all the way back to the hostel. But when she reached room 7, the new girl was already sitting on her bed, smiling. The next morning, she told her friends everything. Nobody believed her. Some laughed. Some said she was imagining things. But one older student looked afraid. She quietly pulled her aside.
You need to leave that room,
she said. The older student explained something shocking. Years ago, another student lived in room 7. She was quiet. She stayed alone. And one night, she disappeared. Nobody found her. The case was forgotten. But students believed her spirit never left the hostel. The roommate suddenly remembered something. The new girl never introduced herself. Nobody knew her full name. Nobody saw her parents. Nobody even knew which department she belonged to. That night, the roommate searched under the bed. There she found an old photograph. Her hands shook. The girl in the photo looked exactly like the new student. But the picture was old. Very old. Written behind it were the words, "Missing since 2013. The roommate could not sleep. She held the old photograph tightly. Her mind raced. At midnight, she heard movement. The new girl slowly stood up. She walked toward the door. But this time, the roommate stopped her.
Who are you?
The new girl turned. Her smile disappeared. The room became cold. The lights flickered. Then she spoke softly.
Nobody listened when I cried for help.
The roommate froze. The new girl looked toward the old photo. I never left this place. Tears rolled down her face. Suddenly, the room lights went out. When they came back, the new girl was gone. Only the old suitcase remained. The roommate opened it. Inside were old books, clothes, and a student ID card. The photo matched. The missing student. Room 7 had never been haunted. It was waiting for someone to finally know the truth.